Doctor's shocking alert. Walking daily after 70 may speed up aging. Here's what you should do instead. Have you always believed that walking more is the key to staying healthy after 70? What if I told you that doctors are now sounding the alarm about that very belief? Walking is indeed a fantastic way to stay active, but if it's the only form of exercise you rely on, you could be making a mistake that actually accelerates aging, rather than slowing it down. Here's the truth: as we age, the body demands more than just walking to preserve strength, maintain balance, and protect your joints. Overdependence on walking while ignoring other critical types of movement can quietly lead to muscle loss, joint strain, and even a higher risk of falls, the very things you're trying to avoid. That's why today's health experts now recommend that after 70, it's not about walking more, it's about walking smarter. And more importantly, shifting your focus to 5 essential practices that are truly the foundation for lasting strength, energy, and independence in later life. In this video, we'll break down those 5 key areas that should become your new priorities. These simple, science-backed changes can help improve your mobility, protect your bones, and may even add years to your life. Stick around until the end, because the final one is something almost no one talks about, but it could play a major role in how long, and how well, you live. 1. The muscle crisis after 70. Why walking alone just isn't enough. After age 70, one of the most silent yet dangerous changes in the body is the loss of muscle mass, a condition known as sarcopenia. Starting around age 30, we naturally lose about 3 to 5% of our muscle mass every decade without intervention. But after 70, that rate accelerates sharply, bringing serious consequences: increased fall risk, declining strength, loss of independence, and even a higher chance of early death. You might be thinking, "But I walk every day. That should be enough to stay healthy, right?" The truth is, walking is great, but it's not enough to maintain full body strength, especially in the upper body and core. Think of walking like paying the minimum on a credit card bill. It keeps things afloat but doesn't build or recover what's been lost. When muscle loss goes unchecked, it can lead to trouble getting up from a chair, poor balance and unsteady movement, increased risk of falling, fractures, or long hospital stays, difficulty with basic self-care, greater risk of cognitive decline and shorter lifespan. Let me tell you about Robert, a 74-year-old patient of mine. He walked every morning over an hour a day for years. But in the past year, he noticed he could no longer lift his grandson like before, struggled to open a jar, needed both hands just to get up from a chair. Tests showed Robert had lost 20% of his grip strength and nearly 30% of lower body power despite being active. He's not alone. According to the CDC, nearly 45% of adults over 65 are considered functionally weak, even if they walk regularly. This proves that walking isn't enough to maintain full body strength as we age. Here's the good news. You don't need to hit the gym or lift 100-pound weights. Simple, gentle, consistent movements can help reverse muscle loss and rebuild strength. Resistance bands, great for home use and activating muscles safely. Body weight exercises, like sit to stand without using hands, or wall push-ups. Household items as weights, water bottles, bags of rice, or milk jugs. Seated strength workouts, perfect for those with mobility issues. What matters most is the principle of progressive overload, slightly increasing the challenge each week to keep your muscles engaged and growing. The goal isn't to bulk up. It's to stand up without needing a hand. Carry a bag of groceries with ease. Climb stairs without knee pain. Move freely, without fear of falling. So ask yourself, can you stand up from a chair without using your hands? Can you lift a 10-pound bag without feeling exhausted? Do you feel weaker than you did 5 years ago? If yes, it may be time to take your muscle health seriously. Elon Musk once said, "Our body is the hardware. Our habits are the software. If the software is outdated, the hardware breaks down." After 70, it's time to update your movement software, and strength training is a key part of that update. 2. Balance loss after 70, a silent but preventable risk. Many older adults believe that walking every day is enough to keep their balance intact. While walking is undoubtedly beneficial, it's not enough, especially after age 70. Balance isn't an automatic function, it's a neuromuscular skill that must be practiced and maintained. Without regular training, it quietly declines, and you might not notice until it's too late. When your sense of balance begins to fade, your body can no longer react quickly to everyday surprises like tripping, slipping, or turning suddenly. Falls don't just happen because your legs are weak, they often occur because your nervous system and muscles fail to respond in sync. The consequences can be serious. Hip fractures, with a 1-year mortality rate exceeding 20%, according to JAMA Internal Medicine. Head trauma, internal bleeding, or permanent loss of mobility. A single fall doubles the risk of falling again, often starting a downward spiral in both body and mind. Balance depends on a finely tuned system of the vestibular system, inner ear, detects head position and motion. Vision provides spatial awareness. Proprioception, your ability to sense the position of your limbs. Muscle strength and flexibility supports movement adjustments. After 70, all 4 of these components decline, reaction times slow, sensory signals weaken, and stabilizing muscles shrink. The result? One misstep can cause a major accident. Take Edward, 76. He had walked every morning for over a decade. But one day, stepping off the curb, his ankle rolled and he nearly fell. That moment was a wake-up call. When I asked him to do a simple balance test, stand on one leg for 10 seconds, he lasted just 4 seconds. According to a 2022 study from Brazil published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, adults over 60 who can't balance on one leg for 10 seconds have an 84% higher risk of dying within the next 10 years compared to those who can. Here's the good news. Balance can be improved, and it doesn't require fancy equipment or a gym membership. Just a few minutes a day can make a big difference. Try these simple exercises. 1. Stand on one leg near a stable surface, table or wall. Start with eyes open for 10 to 30 seconds, then progress to eyes closed. 2. Tandem walking. Walk in a straight line, placing your heel directly in front of your toes. 3. Side-to-side weight shifting. Slowly shift your weight from one leg to the other, activates microstabilizers in hips and ankles. 4. March in place while gently tightening your core. Helps build central stability and overall control. Just 5 to 7 minutes a day, and most people notice real improvement within a few weeks. And it's not just about fewer falls, it's about walking with confidence again, something many lose without realizing it. Take a moment to reflect. When was the last time you stood on one foot for 10 seconds without wobbling? Would you spend 5 minutes a day to protect your hips, spine, and independence? As Oprah Winfrey once said, "Your body is the only vehicle you get to drive for life. Care for it the way you care for your soul. Don't let a single misstep land you in the hospital. Start training your balance so every step you take is strong, steady, and fully yours." 3. Flexibility and mobility, the forgotten foundation of healthy aging. A lot of people assume that taking daily walks is enough to stay limber as they age. But think about this. Do you struggle to reach behind your car seat? Is bending down to put on socks getting harder each morning? If so, chances are you're experiencing a gradual loss of mobility, a quiet but incredibly common process that sets in after age 65. When joints don't move through their full range of motion for long periods, they begin to stiffen, shorten, and limit your ability to move freely. This can lead to poor posture and a slower, more rigid gait, difficulty twisting, reaching, or bending, increased fall risk due to reduced agility, disrupted sleep from ongoing aches and stiffness, a gradual loss of independence in daily tasks. What's most concerning is that many people don't notice it until it's already affecting their quality of life. It's like shrinking into a smaller version of yourself, less free, less fluid, less you. Mobility decline isn't a guaranteed part of aging, it's often the result of 3 preventable biological changes. 1. Collagen fibers in muscles and ligaments stiffen and shorten. 2. Synovial fluid in joints decreases, making movement less smooth. 3. Fascia, the connective tissue surrounding muscles, becomes thicker and less elastic. Put together, these changes create a vicious cycle: stiffness less movement, more stiffness. Take Walter, 78. He walks 6 days a week. Still, he complained of morning stiffness in his back, trouble turning his head when driving, feeling worn out from bending over to pick something up. At first, he assumed it was arthritis. But after a full checkup, we found his joints were healthy, just underused. I gave him a simple 10-minute daily mobility routine, including shoulder and neck rolls, hip circles and ankle mobility, seated torso twists, gentle standing hip stretches. After just 3 weeks, Walter reported easier mornings with less stiffness, better posture when standing, deeper, more restful sleep. A practical fix: no yoga mat or gym needed. All you need is a sturdy chair and a few minutes each morning. Slowly roll your neck side to side. Circle your shoulders in big loops. Twist your torso while seated. Make small to large circles with your hips. Straighten your knees one at a time and lift your legs slightly. Rotate your ankles in both directions. Raise your heels to wake up your calves. This isn't about burning calories. It's about unlocking your body so you can bend without wincing, reach without getting stuck, and move without hesitation. Ask yourself today: do you want to live 10 more years feeling stiff and stuck, or still be able to tie your shoes without losing your breath 5 years from now? Oprah Winfrey once said, "The journey to wellness doesn't begin with a 5K run. It begins with listening to your body each morning. So tomorrow morning, will you repeat the same stiff routine or spend just 7 minutes to expand the possibilities of how you move through life? For core strength and posture, the invisible framework that keeps you alive. When people hear the word core, most immediately picture six-pack abs on the cover of a fitness magazine. But the reality, especially after age 70, is that your core has nothing to do with looks and everything to do with survival. As a geriatric physician who's spent over 30 years caring for thousands of older adults, I can tell you this: a weak core doesn't just cause back pain, it can take away your independence. When the deep stabilizing muscles like the transverse abdominis, multifidus, and pelvic floor begin to weaken, the body starts to struggle in ways you might not expect. You lose the ability to keep your spine aligned. You hunch forward while walking, with rounded shoulders and a bent back. Your breathing becomes shallow because your chest is compressed. Digestion slows down as your internal organs get pressured. Your risk of falling doubles, especially when standing up, turning, or slightly losing your balance. Take Harold, for example. He's 75 and still walks 5 days a week. But his wife started noticing he was hunched over, shoulders rounded, and had to push himself up with his hands to get out of a chair. At his appointment, Harold complained of a dull, nagging backache and said he felt wobbly after standing for too long. We ran a core function assessment, and the results were clear. His core muscles were barely engaging, something Harold was genuinely surprised to learn. But after just 6 weeks of doing simple at-home core activation and posture exercises, Harold's back pain disappeared, his posture straightened, and he told me, "I can take a full breath again for the first time in years." As we age, a few things naturally happen. The discs in our spine lose hydration, leading to shrinking and compression. Gravity constantly pulls our body weight forward. Weak abdominal muscles can't hold the spine in place. Sitting too much causes tightness in the hip flexors and lower back. The result? Rounded upper back, kyphosis, forward tilted pelvis, reduced lung capacity. A heavy, sluggish feeling in the body and persistent aches. In other words, you're not just getting old, your body has forgotten how to hold itself up. Instead of doing crunches or planks, which can actually strain your spine if done incorrectly, I recommend starting with these gentle but powerful moves. 1. Seated pelvic tilts. Sit in a chair. Gently tilt your hips forward and backward. This wakes up your deep core muscles. 2. Wall posture check. Stand with your back against the wall. Your head, shoulders, buttocks, and heels should all touch the wall. Hold for 30 seconds to realign your posture. 3. Abdominal bracing. Sit tall. Gently draw your belly in like you're zipping up your pants. Hold for 10 seconds while breathing normally. 4. Breath and core engagement. Exhale fully, gently tighten the lower belly, hold for a few seconds, repeat. Just 5 minutes a day is all it takes to start reversing weakness and resetting your body's alignment. Is your body sending you signals? Do you hunch over while watching TV? When you stand, does your belly naturally hang forward? If the answer is yes, that's not just age, it's your core crying out for help. So, have you realigned your body's control center today? 5. Protecting your joints and moving smart. Motion insurance for your golden years. Walking is a fantastic habit. But like anything done repeatedly, it has its downside. After turning 70, many of my patients started noticing something felt off. Their joints weren't as flexible, they were feeling more aches and pains, and moving didn't feel as smooth as it used to. It wasn't because they were inactive, quite the opposite. They were walking too much without adding variety to their movements. The human body isn't designed to do just one type of movement. Walking, as great as it is, uses the same repetitive motion patterns, putting consistent strain on the same joints, hips, knees, and ankles. When you're younger, this isn't a big deal. Cartilage is still thick, joint fluid is abundant, and muscles are strong enough to support movement. But after age 70, cartilage becomes thinner and more prone to cracks. Synovial fluid decreases, making joints dry and stiff. Tendons and ligaments lose elasticity. Muscles around the joints weaken, reducing shock absorption. As a result, you may experience joint pain after walking, especially at night. Morning stiffness. Clicking or cracking sounds when you move. Chronic joint inflammation from repeated microdamage. Raymond, 77, used to proudly walk 10,000 steps every day for years. But over time, his knees began to ache, his feet throbbed at night, and his back started to compress and hunch. He thought he had arthritis. But after a checkup, the doctor explained it wasn't inflammation, it was joint overuse from repetitive motion without recovery time or movement variety. We introduced him to gentler, low-impact activities like light swimming, stationary cycling, chair yoga, and Tai Chi. After just 3 weeks, Raymond was sleeping better, his pain had eased significantly, and surprisingly he was walking better, even though he was walking less. The biology of age-related joint degeneration. Cartilage loses elasticity, more prone to cracking. Weak surrounding muscles, reduced force absorption. Ligaments stiffen, less flexibility. Repeated overuse, chronic inflammation. But here's the good news, these issues can be improved if we reprogram the body the right way. A practical guide, motion insurance for those over 70. 1. Gentle swimming or aqua walking. Eliminates joint pressure while boosting circulation. 2. Chair yoga or Tai Chi. Enhances mind-body awareness and maintains flexibility. 3. Mini trampoline, gentle rebounding. Stimulates the lymphatic system and boosts bone health and immunity without joint damage. 4. Stationary cycling or recumbent bike. Promotes smooth joint movement without vertical compression. 5. Isometric holds, engaging muscles in a still position. Activates joint supporting muscles without repetitive motion. Elon Musk once said, "You don't wait for the system to break down to fix it." Prevention is always cheaper and more effective than repair. That doesn't just apply to rockets at SpaceX, it applies to your knees, too. So what about you? Do your knees often hurt after long walks? Have you ever tried switching to lower impact exercises? Are you willing to invest just 15 minutes a day to protect your mobility for the next decade? Your answer doesn't have to be perfect. Just start with a light stretch, a short bike ride, or a step into the pool. Protecting your joints doesn't mean stopping. It means moving smarter. Growing older isn't the problem. The problem is thinking you have to grow weaker as you age. But today, you've learned that you don't need fancy equipment or extreme workouts to protect your body. What you need is consistency, awareness, and a small daily effort to train smarter, not harder. So here's a simple action plan to start today. White heavy check mark 5 minutes of strength, body weight or resistance band. White heavy check mark 5 minutes of balance, 1 leg stand, heel to toe walk. White heavy check mark 5 minutes of mobility, joint circles, seated stretches. That's just 15 minutes a day to protect your muscles, joints, and independence. As Oprah Winfrey once said, the journey to wellness doesn't begin with a marathon. It begins with one conscious choice, repeated every day. So ask yourself, will you let time take your strength, or will you take it back, one movement at a time? If you're ready to age with power, purpose, and peace of mind, let's begin. Speech balloon, let us know in the comments, what's one habit you're going to add starting today? And don't forget to share this with someone you love, because health isn't just personal, it's generational.